But it literally is cheaper to live alone than go 50-50 with a man, because 50-50 doesn't exist. You think half the expenses have been cut out, and that might be so in terms of rent, but everything else doubles. So if I'm an average working person renting a 1-bedroom apartment and living with a man who weighs double what I do, consumes double what I do, sweats triple what I do, adding not only time but also expenses to the washing, cooking, and cleaning, how is it not cheaper and easier for me to rent that same 1-bedroom apartment and have all that space to myself and use that time that I could have spent going 50-50 cleaning up after this man, when I can be spending it on enriching my life in some way or even learning a second income?
Okay, if you're going to turn your whole relationship into a spreadsheet and sit there and calculate every little thing, you don't get to ignore your categories. First of all, your dishes don't double, and sometimes your food costs don't even double. Sometimes you cook food and you have leftovers. He eats those leftovers and then his share. If you cook like a breakfast, for example, you might use 2 pans and then you have an extra plate and an extra fork for him. You still would have needed those 2 pans and your plate and fork. So no, that's not double the dishes. Also, women cost more in other categories. I've noticed a lot of women get very cold easily. So, you might need to use the heater more. You might buy all these beauty products, hair, makeup, nails, clothes, shoes. And then also, men don't typically care about decorations around the house. So there you go, home decor, your period products, if you want to get really down to the little things. Also, women use more water because they shower longer, because we have longer hair. So that usually takes not only more product, but more hot water. And what about those little treats you like to get? I don't know about you, but I know I like to have a drink when I'm out running errands. A lot of us women like that. A lot of men don't care. Those add up quickly. Also, social events, because a lot of ladies are too scared to wear the same dress twice. Also, when you live together with 2 people, you share on transportation costs because you guys might go to the store together. You might split things. You might be able to buy the bigger amount rather than a smaller amount, which saves money typically. If you're married and one of you has good insurance, you can share the insurance. And what I find interesting is you're trying to frame men as just burdens. But men bring a lot of value into your life, and of course you're not noticing that part. You're only noticing the maybe potential downsides. And then you also heavily emphasize the household labor increases. It's not doubled. When you run your vacuum across the carpet, you're vacuuming up yours and his mess at the same time. You're not having to vacuum the same room twice. It's like, okay, this is for my mess, and then you do it again, and okay, this is for his mess. Same with wiping the counters, washing the dishes. All this stuff can usually be done together. And I would argue, maybe a little extra dishes. You have some more water in the sink and soap, which is gradually rinsing his dishes. So it's not even a full new wash. If you have a dishwasher, that makes it even easier. Laundry can be done together. Also, depending how you eat, you actually might be the more expensive person to feed. If you want specific types of products for a specific type of diet, and maybe he's the type of guy that just wants a nice big steak and that's his whole dinner. This is the problem with hyper-transactional relationships. Yes, relationships are a little bit transactional no matter what, because if one person feels like it's unfair, that's when they need to speak up and communicate and figure something out. But you shouldn't be keeping a log of everything that you do versus what he does. Otherwise, that's how your relationship falls apart. 2 different people coming together creates a different lifestyle realistically. And in some cases, he may be cleaner than you in some way, so he might not be adding extra household labor. And then also, he might be the type of guy that does a lot of that. So again, I know a lot of men contribute to their households in many ways and they're not appreciated for it. So whether or not you want to give him credit, he's probably doing stuff around the house. Also, what I've noticed is a lot of men know how to invest and save money in creative ways. So there you might actually be saving money by living with a man if you're the type of woman that knows nothing about finance, like you don't know how to pay the electricity bill, or you don't know how to invest in index funds, or you don't know how to invest in general. A lot of men know how to do that already. So he can actually take your guys' money and stretch it significantly further. You don't get to count his groceries and maybe some extra chores that he leaves around the house and then ignore your Sephora bill.